The result of Super Bowl 60 and the game in general is forgettable to me, but drew a lot of parallel lines to the absolute beating the Chiefs received last year, courtesy of our Philadelphia Eagles. However, if we want to see that happen again with another return, the teeter totter, as mentioned in my previous video, has got to stop. And while plenty of changes and negative news feeds have already occurred, one thing is for certain: the Eagles are letting Sean Mannion take control of the offense with more evidence by the latest hire in Chris Cooper. Hello, NFL and Eagles fans alike. Lindy Endzone is back for the touchdown, taking the lead for the Philadelphia Eagles, one video at a time. And while we are continuing to see the cupboard being stacked with Sean Mannion's guys, per se, it certainly does not come without a mixed bag of opinions and facts as to how the previous 10 years are going to perform in their new setting for a team that was once in the same Super Bowl glory just last year and arguably more dominant, in my opinion, versus the Seahawks display in the route of the New England Patriots. The hire of Chris Cooper comes off a unsettling departure of Jeff Stoutland, who served the Eagles for 13 years as one of the most coveted coaches in not just the NFL, but franchise history, for the high standard that produced consistent results year in and year out for one of the three most important positions on the football field, in my opinion. You talk about quarterback, offensive line, and defensive line, regardless of the fact that every single position on the football field is important. Those are the three most, in my opinion. And while it is safe to say those shoes will never be filled, we can only hope to still have productive years in which the trench remains strong and being part of another Super Bowl trip. Another safe point to say will be that this season is not going to be without its challenges, as Chris does not boast the greatest history of offensive line play for the Vikings by any stretch. And while one could argue injuries and spotty quarterback play are a factor in these numbers, there's no clear confidence boosters here to say the Eagles' offensive line is going to stay on top in the league despite a down season last year. Chris himself was said lineman in the league before starting his coaching career while playing 8 years for the Denver Broncos, starting as a left guard, then switching over to right guard. He has already crossed paths with two new hires, such as Sean Mannion, as we've been talking about so far, and our passing game coordinator in Josh Grizzard. But he was also part of Vic Fangio's staff from 2019 to 2021. Could there have been a little bit of influence there from Vic Fangio? It's certainly possible. Now, if we take into account what we see on screen here coming up, it is definitely the mixed bag that is being discussed. As yes, we'll show here that the numbers look below average to terrible on paper. They were still capable in having two top 10 scoring offenses as for just this past season, for example. Now, when we look at the statistics of 30 of 32nd in pressure rate and 31st in sacks allowed, spanning from 2022 to 2025. Those are courtesy of an article written for Section 215, so you can check it out over there. But I wanted to add a little bit more context to that personally to see how much those statistics were affecting the offense as a whole. And you can see here from 2022 and 2024 specifically that the Vikings had two top 10 scoring offenses, while in 23 and 25, respectively, they were bottom 10, if not almost sixth worst in this in this just past season. Uh, but I would say for that one, it is mostly due to having three quarterbacks starting at different times in 2025, which really no offensive line can handle that type of unfortunate consistency unless the quarterbacks themselves are good in some stretch of the imagination. But the three of them were JJ McCarthy, Carson Wentz, who Eagles fans know very well, and Max Brosmer. Without concrete answers at the moment for some of our star linemen, such as Lane Johnson, which seems to be he's in the lab working on himself, and the evidence there doesn't really suggest to him retiring immediately. But the contemplation of retirement does land on Landon Dickerson as well, as it's already been talked about the amount of injuries that he's sustained in his NFL career so far. But the Eagles, when they drafted them, knew of this risk for a guy that's already went through two ACL tears. But the the freak of nature that he is from an athletic standpoint was very intriguing, and you can obviously see why in terms of his production as to how darn good he is when he is on the field. Um, but besides from that, there is no telling where this upcoming season is going to take us. Uh, but time is going to tell on how good they can become in totality with roster construction, coaching, continuity, and bringing this team back to the top of the NFC where they've shown that they not only belong, but they have conquered the NFL before. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below, and be sure to check out not only the rest of my content, but Hardcore Sports Network as well. And I do have to say, I have some exciting upcoming collaboration opportunities to put together. So stay tuned for those with the notification bell and a subscription to the channel. If you made it this far to the end of the video, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all again soon. Take care, guys.